There's a genre of video we've become familiar with from the United States. They're intended to be heartwarming, but in reality, they're incredibly depressing. These videos usually relate to someone who desperately needs to raise money for essential healthcare and the group of well-meaning people who club in to pay for it. So it's of course supposed to be heartwarming because people have shown their altruism to donate money to help someone. The kindness of the human spirit is on show. However, for UK audiences where we have the NHS, our actual reaction is, why is this person having to beg for funding for essential care? We do still have free healthcare in the UK. So this exact type of video, fortunately, hasn't come to Britain yet, but the style of television has nonetheless arrived. This tweet is from ITV's This Morning. Chemotherapy has Beth feeling cold all the time, and with a broken boiler, all she wanted was to win some money to fix her heating. But we couldn't let her spend her winnings on that, so our friends at British Gas have come to fix her boiler free of charge. We're going to discuss everything wrong with this in one moment, or everything, worrying about this situation. First of all, let's watch that clip.
Our bosses all sat round a table and we thought, we cannot let you spend your £1,000 on your heating. We want you to enjoy yourself with that money. We've got British Gas here. Here's Sonny from British Gas. He's coming to fix your boiler free of charge. We just, do you know what? Oh, Beth, there's your daughters. Oh, Beth. Oh, God, I'm going to go. Oh,
Thank you so much.
Beth, are you all right? I mean, you've just won £1,000. How do you, and you've got your boiler fixed. How do you feel? Oh, Sonny, this is Sonny. Sonny from British Gas. He's going to come in and fix everything for you. We cannot have you being cold. You feeling all right?
Thank you.
Oh, Becky, let me, how do you feel? Yeah. Oh, so, do you know what? It couldn't have gone to a better home, and let's hope you stay warm.
Obviously, the woman in that clip is genuinely moved. She's won £1,000. British Gas are fixing her boiler for free, so she doesn't have to immediately spend that £1,000 on fixing her boiler. My reaction, though, is that it's kind of crazy. It's got to this.
No, it's kind of dystopian that it came to this point at all. And again, this isn't about whether or not she should have gotten the money or shouldn't have gotten her boiler fixed. Actually, she shouldn't have had to go through the process of having to enter into a competition, hope to be noticed, hope that her plight's taken seriously, and then her having in return to kind of display this emotion and gratitude in order to create the TV moment. Because there's a two-way dynamic here, which is she gets the money as long as she can be in some ways the perfect and ideal victim who is then so grateful for being helped that it makes everyone feel really good about themselves, rather than going, well, how is it that a cancer patient who's currently going through chemotherapy is in such financial straits that she can't fix her boiler and is presumably having to endure such, harsh restrictions on her spending that she's having to make those kinds of choices between heating and food or other kinds of expenses. So I think that the problem here is really with the culture, which wants and I hesitate to put it like this, but there is sometimes something exploitative in charity and how it's televised and how it's mediatized, that there is something really exploitative in there. And we use that exploitative media dynamic as a flimsy band-aid, really, for what's wrong with our social safety net. There are millions of people who experience fuel poverty in this country. That's only going to increase over this winter, where we know that there is a sort of perfect storm of cost of living crisis, economic uncertainty, and rising gas prices. How many of those people aren't going to have producers notice them in a televised competition? Most of them. So yeah, there's something about this which makes me feel very squeamish and uncomfortable too, Michael.
According to the End Fuel Poverty Coalition, there are 3.66 million households in fuel poverty. That means they cannot afford to heat their homes to an adequate temperature. The £20 cut to universal credit means this is going to get worse. So charities have warned that that £20 cut will mean families choosing between heating their homes or having adequate food to eat. So you're going to need a lot of morning television competitions to sort that out. There aren't enough mornings in the year to give £1,000 to 3.66 million households. Do you think we have normalized other forms of poverty to the extent that most people watching that video will think it's completely normal? Or do you think there are a lot of people who watch that and think, actually, even if the presenters aren't pointing out that this is completely wrong, maybe it is a problem that people who are, literally undergoing chemotherapy cannot afford to heat their houses?
I think that there has always been this sort of cultural staple of what you would call charity porn, where you identify certain people as perfect victims, whether it is somebody who is a struggling mum and is very moral and has a kind of perfect story, or you find the perfect homeless man who doesn't have substance abuse issues or has never been in prison or something like that, and you create a spectacle of them having some of their most basic needs met, or indeed their impoverished condition being overturned entirely. And then you make that a symbol of, well, look how generous as a society we are. Look how responsive we are to people suffering. Now, that image of the individual's gratitude for that is probably entirely sincere. The relief, the joy, the celebration, the sense of, oh my God, my life has got hope, that's totally sincere. But how the image functions to tell us about ourselves as a society is completely misleading. Now, this isn't something which is brand new. This is also how Victorian culture worked. You had this division between the deserving and the undeserving poor. You had a sort of class of, aristocratic and bourgeois philanthropists who derived a sense of their own morality by distinguishing between who deserved their largesse and who didn't, and punishing the ones that didn't. And by that, you could make yourself more of an upstanding member of society. And by, kind of uplifting and throwing money and opportunity or some kind of employment stability towards the ones who are deemed deserving. So this is something which is as old as the hills. And it is quite, I think, embedded in British culture in a way that we haven't had to look at quite so deeply because we had a welfare state and because we've got something like an NHS. But as that social safety net has been really slashed to pieces over recent decades, I do think that you will see this like horrible cultural response, which is creating a spectacle of one incident of giving charity as a way to conceal the deeper rot within.